Welcome to another video here of what's in the box. Where I go through a box of stuff I have as backlog and pulled them all out in the box, and I go over it and talk about it and kind of show you what's in it, build up some of the models, prime it, and we do a full discussion about the model, its historical stuff, gameplay stuff, lore, whatever I know about it. Usually I have guests with me, but this time we're kind of just chilling in the room here. Different angle. I'm comfy down here. You know, make it look a little bit different. Which have you. So today's video here that we're going to go over is the Blades of Khorne Blood Warriors. So these guys are, at first glance, when you look at the rulebook, they're a little bit weird to kind of build. It looks very much difficult or overwhelming because there's a lot of bits, but it's actually with a lot of Khorne stuff, very much a point and click adventure, paint by numbers sort of build. Pieces that you need to build the models will be beside each other and what have you, or they'll be labeled A, B, A goes to A, C to C, stuff like that. So these colors here go off the fact that you already have this starter painting collection box from them. So you know your black, red, green, blue, your tools, and these are paints you would have extra or paints you'd buy extra to make it look like the ones on the box set here. So with that, let us get into this box and actually start working on it. Inside, full of sprues with the Khorne symbol on the tab, the instruction manual, which is flipped upside down. So this does make 10 men, which they do now come in 10s, thankfully, with the Age of Sigmar 3rd. Here you go, kind of show you the parts, how to build all the legs. So you build all the bodies first, and I would recommend doing it that way. Because after you build all the legs, building the arms and the heads is very much just two arms and go. Like you just pick up the bits and Lego them together. Here we have the sprues themselves. You get 3 altogether. Here we have some parts here. Heads, really nice molds. Kind of like during their time when they were in between of applying all their new digital technology to their sprues, but also having some of that hand sculpt still. The gore cleaver, which is right here. This Boyo model's awesome. Then we have the part here where a lot of people know these guys from, the banner. And then, of course, lastly here we have the bases. 32 millimeter bases. But yeah, I would suggest these guys. They're a lot of fun. Though Slaves to Darkness, the warriors are way better and cheaper, and they can still get Mark of Khorne, so you can still buff them and do things, and they don't count against your as an ally. Not until that new book comes out, and they may change that. But as Khorne is written now, and how Slaves to Darkness works with them, you can take Slaves to Darkness models as Khorne models, and they don't act as allies. So you can take them, and they can be your mainline infantry. So with that, guys, we've looking at these awesome models, which I'm excited to build. So if you think these guys are awesome, thank you for staying this long into the video. When we come back, we'll have some of these boyos built up and painted and primed, and we'll go over some history and lore about them. See you guys. We're back here at the end of the video, taking a look at the Khorne Blades of Khorne, basically. The the Blood Warriors. They're basically Chaos Warriors. They're mainline dudes. They're armored. They're 4-up armored guys. 4-up, 5-up armored dudes. You know, your basic depending on. I haven't really looked at 3rd edition Sigmar, and we haven't got a 3rd edition Codex yet for them. But it's exciting to see. I heard that they're supposed to be next, and they've even showed off some new rules in a White Dwarf. So that's kind of cool. This comes in a box of 10. I've basically just built about 5 of them, just to kind of look at it. So half of them, we have our sort of sergeant leader, we have our special glaive, the gore glaive, and our banner. I primed them in bronze from Games Workshop. They're brass, skull brass, whatever, because I do all their trim in bronze and silver. I paint all their panels in black, leaving a bit of red somewhere on it to represent the Khorne because these are Valkea's infantrymen. I'm doing a whole army on that. If you guys want to see how my armies looks and how like kind of the color scheme is going to look in the future, take a look on my channel. I have my whole army posted on there, so feel free to take a look at that. But let us go into the start here. So look at these guys. They are really detailed yet easy to build and pose. Though if you get a bunch of these over time, they will kind of look the same. Uh, their shoulder pads are separate, like separated on the sprue, but when they glue together, they seamlessly fit. There's no real gaps, and they're very easy to figure out where they go. Like I said during the first part, a lot of bits, if they need to go together, like two-handed for the glaive there, they're all really close together. So you basically just look for the same letter, and they'll just match. It's very, very simple. Um, you get a lot of bits, so if you know people especially who want to do word bearers or world eaters when that codex comes out with Angron, which I'm super excited for, they're going to want your axes, so you're going to get a bunch of these from these boxes, so make sure to spread the love or do it yourself. Just get some Primaris Marines and slap these on and you'll be good. We have the, that was like Gore, where's the Gore Fist? The Gore Fist. The cool thing about these things is if you run a unit with this layout, until they change it otherwise. Whenever you make a save of a 6, you do a mortal wound back to the unit that hit you. So that's cool. Even if it's even if they make it so your armor's like a 6 plus or they drop it or lower it, as long as you roll a nat 6 on the dice, um, you get a punch it back. Plus, on top of that, you have your rule that says, so basically for perspective, your stat is for 110 points, you get 10 of these, or 120 points. Or is it 200 points? I think it's 200 points now. You get 10 of these dudes. They're 4s and 4s, I believe. 4s and 3s. I think they're 3s to hit, 4s to wounds, or 4s to hit, 3 to wound. One of the two. They have axes, one attack each base. Sergeant gets 2. Again, this is without kind of really looking at their new stats, because I think they did get new stats. The Gore Cleaver has a -1 rend, -2 rend, and does, I think, 2 attacks. The banner lets you do, I think, charging stuff or morale. If you have the Gore Fists, they let you wound a fool who hurt you, or try to hit you on a nat 6. If you have double the axes, that's the way I like to go. You get you get a reroll, or you get an extra attack, one of the two. And this is still in that period where the codex, like, it's not just everyone like, oh, you just get a +1 reroll. I think it's an extra attack. I could be wrong. To be safe, I'm gonna say it's a reroll 1. Reroll 1 to hit if you have 2 axes. So, and then of course the big thing is when a model dies in your army, keep it where it is. Just make sure you count your wounds on who gets what. And once your opponent is done rolling all their damage, as is the new rules with 3rd edition, then you count every model that has died, which these guys have 2 wounds each, I believe. 2 to 3? I think 2. Just 2. They get 2 wounds each. So once you get all the wounds counted up, for every model that's died, you measure as if you were just in combat. You get to move in, and then you get a swing as if they're still alive before you remove them. And then because this is out of combat, it doesn't. It might. You'd have to get a rules lawyer for this, but I think because it's out of turn, out of combat sequence, any kills that you would pop on your opponent from this ability, if they have a similar ability, wouldn't go off because it wasn't during the combat phase. But I could be wrong. Again, ask your local organizer or game store if that's the rule is correct or not. But that's what these guys basically do. They're basically your hammer and shield bros from Stormcast. That just like your Fire Slayers, that when they die they get a swing back. So here we have my favorite model of the unit. I love these guys, the Batliths of Khorne, the Gorglaive. It's a great model, great weapon. Then we have the banner, skull, chains, well made, anchored well, no issues, build like a dream. Here we have the sergeant of the unit, screams at the sky. And then we have another Gorfist and axe. Again, my Sigmar army, I do not care about weapon layouts, and Sigmar doesn't either, because you don't pay points for it like you do in 40K. Excuse me, like you do in 40K, and even Slaves to Darkness, really, as of their current codex, really pushes for you to mix and match because all their different sort of weapons on their units have different abilities. So just like how Death Watch in 40K back in the seventh was all about mixing your like giving different weapons like an like like a kill team and making them like unique was a cool benefit, and that's what was special about the army because they're smaller. Age of Sigmar does that, especially Chaos. It's undivided does that a lot. That's kind of their gimmick and stick. So it's cool. I'm excited to see this new box set that's going to come out. I'm sad that I'm unfortunately unable to get it now because of situations that have happened and no longer having a sort of like cheaper alternative location to get it. So I'm going to wait for all the stuff to come out because I want the Demon Prince and the book. The Chaos Chosen was a bonus in my opinion for it, but I really just wanted that Demon Prince and the Codex, so I can buy those separate. I'll be here, but hey, I'll have money saved up at that time. Really, though, the one model I will buy, will want to get, no matter where I have to get it from, is Anchoron. He's going to be sick. I can use him as a Bloodthirster for Sigmar, or I can use him in 40K. But yeah, that's the Blood Warriors for the Blades of Khorne faction for Sigmar. If you guys want to see more of these models, see them painted up, take a look again at that army video I did of my Khorne, or I can even do another new video where I just talk about these units and maybe give you some ideas, suggestions about how to use them in the army. I'll reread up on the codex, stuff like that. Or if you want to see any other games, models, uh, stuff I've done, books, comics, all that stuff, please let me know down below, and we can do more reviews on them. Hopefully in the future, once I get everything paid off, done, dealt with, we can focus on getting a better camera for you guys. So with that, we will see you guys in the next video.